Sup nerds, I'm Tom.
I'm Wes.
Land Before Time, let's do it.
In God Loves Dinosaurs, you are each going to be building your own ecosystem with predator and prey and dinosaurs in it. And the whole point of the game is you want your prey to expand so that your predators can eat the prey, in which case the predators will then multiply, so that your dinosaur can then go around and eat the predators. So you get points for your dinosaur eating predators.
And yeah, basically. So like that whole chain of events, it's only the end thing. And it's important to know, this is God's love dinosaurs. Not what I first saw it as God loves dinosaurs. No. You're each playing basically as a god controlling your own
this
ecosystem.
Is my planet ecosystem.
Yeah, these are the dinosaurs that I love, and those are the dinosaurs that you love.
And that's really important in the terms of playing the game.
Pretty much. And now saying that would make it kind of sound like there isn't a lot of player interaction, and that's not really true. Like it is. So this is ultimately a Euro game, which means not a lot of player interaction. But so you draft the tiles to build up you're building up the ecosystem, because the tiles type and the animals kind of coincide. Because I was thinking, like, really the tile placement, like this placement does kind of matter, but tile placement doesn't really, because you're placing it in reference to not necessarily just like the tiles, but to like the meeples that are on the tiles, right? So it's not, and those move around. You know what I mean? So it's more than just tile placement, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Because again, when you're replacing these tiles, it's not like, okay, well, all of your ponds have to go together and all your forests have to go together. As long as like the tile you place is touching your ecosystem, that's a legal move.
Yeah, so
it doesn't
really
matter
no rules,
what it's touching. No rules. It's just
there's only one rule. The rule that there's no rules.
The important thing to remember is, like, strategically, like, okay, I want to make sure that my prey are in a spot that I can put a predator to go eat a bunch of prey to reproduce, in a spot where a dinosaur can eat the predators and end on a mountain.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
And they all have different movement. Like, the prey just expand, so that the tile placement there does matter, because you want them to be able to expand, and you want enough room in the green clump so they can expand through the green, right? Sure. So that kind of matters. But then the prey move a little bit differently. One moves 2 spaces any direction. Or prey, sorry.
The predators don't even have a type. Like, the predators start on the prey's type of land.
Yeah, and they start wherever the tile says they start, and it doesn't really matter. So then they move around. The eagles, are they eagles?
Eagles, yep.
Yeah, they just move in a straight line to try and eat things, and the predators move like what are these tigers? Terms. The tigers move like 2 spaces in any direction to try and eat things. And then the dinosaur moves 5 in any direction. So it is kind of puzzly, kind of like chess-esque of staring out. Like, if this piece can move in this way and this piece can move in that way, will this piece block that piece, and will this piece be able to complete that which it needs to complete? All of that while you're thinking, well, I want to get, okay, well, before I do that, I want to trigger the rats to expand. How you trigger the rats is whenever you draft. And the draft is a really big part of this. Like, I wouldn't call this a drafting game, nor would I really call it a tile placement game. It's hybrid enough that no one mechanic feels like, oh, this is an X type of game. But when you draft and you take up the last of one column, whatever column that is, the one I happen to be pointing at right now is the rabbits, then the rabbits will trigger. All the prey just multiply, and then the predators move, and there's actually a dinosaur here, and the dinosaurs will trigger at pretty much any one of these, depending on where it just happens to be at that round. So there's a lot of decisions going on in this, what is just deceptively seems simple, but a lot going on.
Mechanically simple with a lot of moving parts.
If you have to throw a f***ing label on it.
And it's also, like, you can get a little tricked up, because, like, I'm going to take this rabbit tile, which causes the tigers to trigger.
Right.
So, like, that's one of the things that, like, I had to kind of keep an eye on. But overall, like, I really enjoyed this game. Like, it was definitely puzzly. You're trying to figure out, like, where can I put this and move this dinosaur around. It stayed, like, really tight. Like, there really wasn't a lot of, like, runaway lead. You were a little bit pigeonholed into, like, what flopped out. Because I'm like, okay, well, I need eagles right now. I'm perfectly set it for an eagle. One eagle dropped out, and it's your turn, and you took it. So I just don't get eagles right now. That was probably, like, my biggest complaint.
But I don't know if that would happen all the time.
Yeah.
Because we did, these tiles are separated out into A's, B's, C's, and D's, right? And you use all the A's first before you use the B's. And I remember asking, I was like, they don't seem to be like higher levels.
No,
right?
I think it's just to help with the distribution. So you don't get like all your eagles in the first round and you don't see another eagle the rest of the game.
Right. We think it's set up such that that problem you were just talking about could happen, but it's not super likely. It's not all just luck of the draw.
Yeah, well, it's not like I'm never going to see an eagle again. It's I want an eagle right now, and you took the only.
But then again, even though you didn't get eagles, but then you were able to get a lot of these tigers and really, multiply tigers a whole bunch. You don't necessarily need. I mean, it's good strategically to have both, but you don't necessarily need both such that if that happens, I did not get the other predators, so I'm just screwed for the rest of the game. Like, no, there's a lot of. There's, what's the word I want to think of? It's kind of forgiving, right? It's not like, you miscounted where this one guy was supposed to go. You didn't set it up exactly right, so you're screwed completely, I agree with you that I probably didn't like it as much as you, because in general, tile placement isn't really my jam. But this type of tile placement is.
It was so, like, lax tile placement, though. Like, you were placing tiles in a puzzle, but it wasn't polyominoes. It wasn't like, where does this fit? And it wasn't like, well, I need to have this next to this, so that can be next to this. Because you could put the tile anywhere. It's just like, is there a best place to put it?
Yeah, you're not like pigeonholed. You're not like so locked out, like, well, I can't go there, can't go there. And also, you're never like looking down like, I put this one here and that totally ruined my strategy. So you're right that like, It really isn't that much tile placement. So when I say tile placement isn't my jam, it's hard for me to say that, well, because it's a tile placement game, that's why I didn't like it. But I will say, every time I went to go place a tile, and I was thinking about that kind of strategically, I was kind of like, I'm a little bit bored right now.
But again, that was the disclaimer that Tom traditionally doesn't care for tile placement games.
But if I were to play a tile placement game, this type of thing, a hybrid are okay in my book.
The other thing I really liked about it was the way that the tiles triggered everything. So we said it triggers when you empty a column that this is the eagle column and any tile can be here, but when this column empties, the eagles trigger. And then when you trigger the column with the dinosaur, you trigger first the animal and then the dinosaur, and that's when you refill the mat with new tiles. So you can kind of control when new tiles are going to come out. If I'm like, gosh, there's no eagles out here, I want an eagle, so I'm just going to bum rush to empty the T-Rex or the dinosaur column to get more tiles out there. Whereas you could say, I don't want you to get eagles, so I'm going to avoid that one. Or I want to get more carnivores and trigger those before the dinosaur activates to let my carnivores eat some more prey to multiply before my dinosaur has a chance to go eat them.
Right, because there isn't really rounds. You just go until the game is over. Just keep taking turns. So... thinking about my negatives here, I really think the only thing I have negative-wise, I mean, other than just the fact that I tend to not really like tile placement games, which, again, it's hard to call that as a negative per se against this game, but I think maybe the meeples, these things they're really cute and really nice. They might be ever so slightly too small. They are not tiny epic dinos too small, but, okay, I get that the reason why these tiles are this size. Right? Like, this is a pretty decent... This is like a small tile, but a decent size for especially, if you have 5 players and stuff and they start building up their ecosystem. Like, when my ecosystem, towards the end of the game, I was starting to, push the main board away. Like, oh, wait, I need more room here. So I get why the tiles are this size. But I feel like they just wanted the prey to be smaller than the predators, and then which was smaller than the dinos. But... I don't know. I felt like they could have been, especially the eggs. I felt like they could have been a little bit bigger. I just hate grabbing little teeny tiny oop, boop.
The size didn't bother me. I didn't like the sculpt on the eagles. I thought that if you telling me this is an eagle, I'm still you sure? You sure it's an eagle? I can see it. I figured out where the eagle is.
You know those memes where they take childhood drawings and do photorealistic things? The bear's all oh, this looks like a crocodile that some kid tried to draw, and then they turned it into a meeple.
And the frogs are okay. They're not great. The rats and the rabbits.
Everything else looks good. I just would have liked it if they were a tiny bit bigger. I'm just trying to find
3% bigger.
Yes, 3.2% bigger. I'm just trying. Hang on.
Overall, though, I think we both had a really positive experience with this game. Like it was.
I think you liked it more than me, but
yeah, but I liked it a lot. I was like, this is one that I want in my collection because it was fun. It was simple. It was that perfect level of like there's strategy and there's thought to it, but it's not like you're teaching somebody new all these new mechanics. So like I can still feel like I'm playing a game with somebody, even if it's like their first time playing a game. This is one of the. It's a good gateway game.
You can play it with your wife, i.e. my sister.
Play it with your mom, i.e. my mother-in-law.
Are we using i.e. correctly? Probably not.
Anyway, if you guys want to pick up a copy of God Loves Dinosaurs, there will be a purchase link underneath the like button down below. Definitely check it out.
And while you're going near the like button, you should also hit the like button. While you're down there, you should also leave some comments because that feeds the algorithm. And then you should definitely subscribe to our channel so you'll never be bored. What was that voice?